捧げよう捧げよう心臓を捧げようすべての犠牲は今この時のために捧げよう捧げよう心臓を捧げよう進むべき未来をその手で切り開けYou weren't supposed to see that. Let me just go get the TBU battle. I'll be right back, yeah? How is it going, guys? My name is Wanzibinette, and welcome back to the Battle Union. And this week is week 2, and we are facing off against my arch enemy, Slyroh, and his Pittsburgh Pyroar. Slyroh is the person that I have played the most amount of times in draft format, and they're always very interesting games. We haven't had a single boring game to date. They've always included some kind of hacks and some kind of bad misplay on our sides. Like, we always end up choking against each other. I think it's 4-3, no, it's 4-2 in favour of him at the moment. This will be the 7th time we've played, and yeah, I'm hoping to make that 4-3. Gonna close the gap, hopefully get another win against him. But yeah, the team that he has got is Mega Mawile, Vaporeon, Thunderous Incarnate, Serena, Crocodile, Volcanion, Uxie, Cryogonal, Tyrantrum, and Cottony. Quite a scary team, a lot of threats to me I can see right off the bat. Thunderous Incarnate, Tyrantrum, and Mega Mawile all stand out as huge threats that I have no switches into in the slightest. So yeah, not the greatest, but I'm pretty sure that I have a game plan for this one. So yeah, let's start off with the 6 that I'm bringing. I'm bringing Meganium, Steelix, Tapu Koko, Hydreigon, Fortress, and Diggersby. Now, this is not a typical team because I've done some very fun stuff with it. And if you can see that big blunt over here, my Meganium, you can see Meganium is exactly the kind of meme that I wanted to bring this season. I've brought Meganium with 188 speed Jolly, just enough speed to outspeed a max speed Serena. No, I believe speed tie with max speed Serena, and if it's max speed Serena, it can't do jack shit to me anyway. It's just enough to outspeed Tyrantrum, which is base 71, and just enough defense to have I think it's like an 80% chance to live a Fire Fang from a Mega Mawile if it's adamant, and always live one if it's Jolly, which I doubt it will be, but there's always a possibility. So yeah, the moveset we've gone with is Petal Blizzard, Swords Dance, Outrage, Earthquake with the Dragonium Z. Now, the Dragonium Z, it's memes, it's absolute memes, but if you look through, let's look through Meganium's coverage real quick. It gets Petal Blizzard, it gets Outrage, it gets Earthquake, it gets Body Slam / Return, it gets Iron Tail, and that's it. It has nothing else to hit Thunderous Incarnate in the slightest, unless I wanted to go special with Energy Ball, not Energy Ball, Ancient Power, and I didn't want to do that. So the best bet for me in this game is to Swords Dance up, and the coverage that I've given it is enough to smack everything for at least neutral damage, and if I'm using a +2 Devastating Drake on something, it's going to sting. Earthquake hits Tyrantrum, it hits Mega Mawile for super effective damage, it hits Volcanion, whereas Outrage just smacks stuff like Serena, smacks Thunderous Incarnate. Pretty much that's all it's there for. If I can get a kill with Outrage Draconium Z, then I'm a happy boy. I'm expecting Meganium to actually put in a shift this game, because it outspeeds the majority of his defense, threatens them all apart from maybe Uxie, but even then I can set up on Uxie. And his offense, I can outspeed it unless it's scarfed, apart from Thunderous Incarnate. But yeah, I'm hoping Meganium can do things. Now, the next one I have is Craig David the Steelix with an Ockerberry. Now, I've given it just enough defense and HP to be able to live 2 Fire Fangs. I think it was just enough to live 2 Fire Fangs. But then again, I gave it the Ockerberry so that I could live 3. The idea with the Ockerberry there is that Mega Mawile's Fire Fangs without an Ockerberry do just under 50%, so I know that unless it burns me, I have the ability to switch into it freely once, and then switch into it as a revenge killer once. With Crunch, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, and Toxic. Crunch is there for the Uxie. Stealth Rock is there because Stealth Rocks are really nice here for Volcanion, Thunderous, and Cryogonal. And Toxic because I'm not going to let myself get to a situation where I get completely walled out by a Vaporeon again. Yeah, that's all Steelix is here. It doesn't have huge power, it has Sturdy. I don't know what gave it huge power, that's silly. The next one we have is Tapu Koko with max special attack Rash, with 236 speed, just enough speed to outspeed a Thunderous Incarnate, 12 HP, 4 defense, and 4 special defense, with Substitute, Thunderbolt, Acrobatics, and Dazzling Gleam. The reason for this guy was simply because, well, Thunderbolt and Dazzling Gleam rape him. I hate saying it like that, but it straight up does. It absolutely mauls him. Anything that isn't hit super effectively by Thunderbolt is hit either neutrally or super effectively by Dazzling Gleam. Acrobatics is there just for Cryogonal and Serena in case they want to do things, because if you look at Koko's physical attack, it's actually fairly good, even uninvested, so boosted Acrobatics because of Electric Seed is going to be quite nice. Also, the Electric Seed means that I can live a Play Rough from Mega Mawile and a Head Smash from Tyrantrum, so yeah, Electric Seed could pull off some pretty shaky shenanigans. Next thing we have is Hydreigon with 172 speed. I believe that's just enough to outspeed a Serena, if I double check this. No, that's enough to outspeed Crocodile. That was what it was. With U-Turn, Dragon Pulse, Earth Power, Dark Pulse with Wise Glasses. This thing is literally just here to hit as much as it can. It's just going to be some kind of late game cleaner if I can wear his team down enough, because his team is fairly slow and Hydreigon outspeeds a lot of it. So Hydreigon comes in, has enough bulk to take a couple of hits, has enough power to smack through, and hopefully I can bluff a modest Scarf with Wise Glasses. So yeah, that could be quite nice. Now the next one we have is one of the more fun ones on the team. We have Adamant, 252 speed, 252 attack, Fortress with Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Counter Spikes, and Sturdy and Leftovers. The reason for this guy was because Volcanion uninvested has 90 speed, whereas Fortress has, as you can see, Adamant hits 92. So I can actually outspeed Volcanion, smack it with a quite strong invested Earthquake before it hits me with like a Steam Eruption or a Fire Blast. I would then live because of Sturdy, unless it burns me, because Steam Eruption is a thing, but I could then live and then Earthquake it again. And I also have Spin on here because fun. Spikes are here because, well, his team doesn't really appreciate them outside of Cryogonal, Uxie, and Thunderous. The rest of them don't really mind it so much. Don't really like it, especially stuff like Tyrantrum and Mega Mawile isn't really going to be wanting to switch in on spikes too often. And Counter is just so that, because I know that Mega Mawile is going to have Fire Fang this game, I'm gonna want to capitalize on that. That's going to want to be my main thing. So Speedy Fortress, which also outspeeds Mega Mawile, and I can smack that with an Earthquake too. I'm hoping this thing can catch his bulk off guard. I really do. I'm quite enjoying building with Fortress. It seems like my kind of mon. And the final one on the team is Big Nasty, because he's going to let the base drop with his Choice Scarf. That's not agility, that's actually knockoff, by the way. As you'll see in game, that's actually knockoff. With Earthquake, U-Turn, Return, Earthquake, U-Turn, Return, and knockoff. U-Turn, Return is quite hard to say. But yeah, I've gone Jolly, 252 attack, 36 HP, 4 defense, 4 special defense, and 212 speed. Now that's just enough to outspeed any form of Serena, whether that be Choice Scarf, Choice whatever. It also outspeeds Tyrantrum, which is really nice in case that thing decides to come Scarfed. Diggersby seems to, it's probably going to be quite a huge player in this game, because I would then outspeed all of his offense as well. I expect Choice Scarf Tyrantrum because, well, it outspeeds Tapu Koko, even if it's timid. I was hoping that Koko would be able to outspeed if I max invested its speed, but it unfortunately doesn't. So I decided to go the more offensive route since I can outspeed Thunderous. So yeah, I expect Choice Scarf Tyrantrum to outspeed Koko. I expect, and in that case, I need something that's able to outspeed and revenge that back, because Choice Scarf Head Smash is okay for Steelix, but it's not okay for anyone else. I've gone with... I was tempted to run Quick Attack here, but if Serena comes and Queenly Majesty is a thing, then I don't really want to be having to be locked into that too much. And if I outspeed Serena, I can just U-turn it anyway. But yeah, that's the team, guys. I tried to keep this one short, so yeah, let's get into the game and see what happens when we take on Slyroh and the Pittsburgh Pyroars. So here we are in the battle, and I realised I made a little bit of a mistake in my team builder video. I meant to go over the fact that I was kind of torn between bringing Fortress and Slyroh. Slyroh was going to be here simply because I needed something that could switch into an offensive Volcanion, which I don't have at the moment. Like, look at my team and look at Volcanion's coverage moves and tell me what my switch-in is to a Life Orb Volcanion. Absolutely nothing. If he hits me with a Focus Blast on my Hydreigon switch-in, I'm dead, and everything else dies to Steam Blast coverage, so that's a bit annoying. Slyroh would have been my answer to that, but Slyroh does very badly against the rest of his team. Everything there really hurts it, so yeah. I'm kind of happy with the 6 that he did bring though. Volcanion, as I said, I outspeed the thing and everything on my team hits it with super effective damage. Well, 4 out of my 6 outspeed it, possibly 5 if he's not speed invested, because Fortress will be able to outspeed and Earthquake it. Cryogonal was an interesting one. I kind of expected Serena instead of that, and maybe Uxie. I was worried about Uxie Vaporeon being a thing because I seem to be quite susceptible to people trying to bring full stall against me in recent seasons. But I'm glad that Sly didn't, because I don't like Uxie. I don't feel like I would have had a problem dealing with it because my Steelix would just not really care about anything it wanted to do. And neither would Fortress really, and I can kind of bust through it with Hydreigon. In fact, Hydreigon busts through the majority of his team anyway, so I'm not too... I wouldn't have been worried if it did come, but I'm glad that it didn't. So, yeah, I feel like I'm going to lead with Diggersby here, because the man, depending on what he leads with, I can either U-turn or smack something with a super effective damage, or get a knockoff off turn 1, which could be quite nice. So yeah, let's just get into the game and see what happened when I played Slyroh for the 7th time. 7 times? I cannot believe I've played this guy 7 times in an official game. But anyway, I'm challenged by Pokemon Trainer Slyroh. I'm all too used to seeing those words. Slyroh sends out Ring Pop, which is his Volcanion. He's going to lead with that, as I lead with my own Diggersby. Big Nasty! Big Nasty's going to come out, and I'm just going to click that U-turn turn 1, because I don't really want to have to go for an Earthquake as he goes into a Cryogonal. But he doesn't go into Cryogonal, he goes out to Thunderous, which was probably a safer play in my opinion, but I could have gone for a Stone Edge there and absolutely destroyed that thing turn 1. Spoilers, I'm not bringing it. But I'm going to U-turn out into Romelu Tapu, because, well, Romelu Coco, whichever one you like. And I'm just going to click that safe Thunderbolt. My Electric Seed's going to go off, so if Cryogonal decides to come in, I can Acrobatics the hell out of that. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt this turn, safe play, and I wanted to gauge this Cryogonal Sex. If it was speed and special attack invested, then I would have been able to 2-hit KO it there, but it shows that it's definitely HP invested, probably Spadef invested too. So I'm going to go for an Acrobatics and hit it on its weaker side, and that's doing just over half, so another Acrobatics will kill it as he fires off his own Freeze Dry, trying to gauge my, my set, I guess, but now that I've gone for an Acrobatics, it means that I can pretty much just go for a Thunderbolt here, because he's guaranteed to switch, and I'm guaranteed to hit something for hella damage. So, yeah, Thunderbolt is going to go off here onto this Tyrantrum. It's going to do hecka damage, just over, well, just under half, and that's unfortunate. Now, because this Tyrantrum was out, I had to make one of 2 switches. One, I had to go into either Steelix. If I go into Steelix and he clicks Earthquake or Superpower, I'm absolutely screwed. Or I can go out to Diggersby. If I go out to Diggersby and he clicks Superpower, I'm equally screwed, but if he clicks Head Smash, then, well, he's either going to click Head Smash or Earthquake here, and if he clicks Dragon Dance, then I don't have to worry about, you know, him outspeeding me, because I'll be a Scarf Diggersby, and if he goes for Head Smash, I can live 1 Head Smash anyway. But if I go out into Steelix and this thing goes for like Earthquake, I need Steelix around for later. I can't really go into Steelix at the moment, risking him going for a Earthquake or a Superpower or something. I have to go into Diggersby here, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because I'm guessing this thing's Scarfed. If it wasn't, I'd stay in a Dazzling Gleam, but I'm not risking it in the slightest. I'm going out into Diggersby, and he's going to go for Head Smash. So it kind of worked. Now, I was forced here to go for one of two plays. I'm going to pause it in just a second. I'm forced to make one of two plays because this Tyrantrum sitting in front of me can either go for another head smash, predicting me to over-predict a U-turn or knock off or something, or I can go for an Earthquake and straight up take it out. If I go for an Earthquake here, this thing's dead, but he gets a free switch into Cryogonal afterwards, and I have to then pick something to deal with it, which I'm not too afraid of. But if I go for a knockoff here, and he tries to preserve this thing around for late game, which I would if I were him, then I get a cheeky knockoff on something and I get to, you know, scout some item out. So yeah, I'm going to go for a knockoff, but he's actually going to predict that, and he's going to stay in and go for another head smash because this knockoff is going to reveal that it's scarfed, but it misses. That's huge. Diggersby would have died completely 100% there if that had hit, and yeah, Diggersby lives for another day. I get free damage. I was rewarded for him making a correct play, and that's nasty. He is just going to go into his Mawile and intimidate me as I go for a knockoff though, trying to finish off the Tyrantrum. But yeah, now that this thing's in, I have to make my first of my two Steelix switches. I have to make the counter switch and possibly burn the Ockerberry, depending on whether he's going to go for Firefang or not. If he goes for Play Rough, I've made the right choice. He goes for Firefang and misses, and that's huge again, because if he had hit that, I wouldn't have had my Ockerberry around for late game. But now I get another switch into Mega Mawile, and I'm just going to go for Stealth Rock as he's going to switch out. And that's absolutely huge because I still have Steelix around for late game. I've already had two huge pieces of hacks on my side of the field, but that's just Pokemon for you. I feel bad for them, but what can you do? But yeah, I'm going to go out into Meganium as he wishes up, and this is where Meganium gets to possibly go ham. I'm going to go for a Sword Stance here, and he's going to go out into his Volcanion thinking that I'm maybe Specs or something, because I did reveal what Volcanion said this was after the game, and it was a very interesting one. So I'm actually just going to Sword Stance, and I'm going to go straight for that Earthquake, because if this thing wants to Fire Blast me and take Meganium out, so be it. I don't have a switch in, I have to hit this thing, but it actually reveals Flamethrower, and I'm thinking, wait, Flamethrower? What is this? And I actually live. Now, I did all of the calcs for that after the game, and that could not have been invested. And if it is was invested, it couldn't have been modest. It had to have been some kind of uninvested defensive set, or at least not even physically defensive, because that did fair damage. Like, if that was physically defensive, then that would have done a lot less. Like, that would have done just around over half. But that's got to be specially defensive, possibly Assault Vest with no attack no special attack investment. Otherwise, that would have killed me like all day, any day. But I actually live it because it's probably Assault Vest and probably special defense invested to try and deal with Coco. And because that thing is now really low, I outspeed it. I can just go for a safe Devastating Drake here, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to click my Z move as he switches out into the Thunderous. Now, bear in mind, I'm a +2 Meganium right now, and I'm just going to go for Devastating Drake. We're going to go for that powerful, powerful Z move, and I don't know about you, but I don't think Thunderous is living this. So, I think I've just got a kill with Meganium using Devastating Drake. So this Curse of Dragon over here is just going to fly into Thunderous and take it out. I get my kill with Meganium for the season. I don't need to use Meganium ever again now. It's done. And I got a kill with Devastating Drake. So that's absolutely huge. Now here I'm forced to make one of two plays. I can either go for Earthquake, predicting him to you know, over-predict me, or I can switch out / go for Sword Stance, predicting him to Sucker Punch. I don't think he's going to Sucker Punch here. I think he's going to try and make the play and, you know, save his, you know, try and gain some momentum back, because my Earthquake here would be quite silly considering I outspeed this thing anyway. I know he's got Sucker Punch. I try to read him and he just goes for the obvious play. All fair play to him. Meganium kind of swept through him at that point, but I got the kill with Meganium. We ripped through Volcanion. We destroy that Thunderous. Meganium does its job, but now I get my free switch into Steelix, and I'm just going to go for Toxic because there's a Mega Mawile in front of me. It's not going to stay in and hit me. I'm just going to go for Toxic, and this Vaporeon is now Toxic. Now, unless this thing has Heal Bell, that's incredibly huge, because if you realised last week, I got completely stalled out by an Alomomola because I wasn't able to get a Toxic onto it. That, like I said, that's absolutely huge. So I'm obviously going to keep my Steelix around for, you know, for Mega Mawile later on, and I'm going to go out into Tapu Koko, get my Electric Surge back up, and I know I can live a Scald from this thing, so I'm going to do that. It does a lot more than I expected. I kind of expected to take a little less from that, and I'm glad it didn't burn me, because if it had, then that would have been a bit of a problem. But now I'm just free to go for a safe Thunderbolt, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go I'm going to go straight for a Thunderbolt, and he's going to go out into the Tyrantrum, sacking that thing off because it's lost its Choice Scarf. It's outsped by everything I have left, apart from possibly Fortress and Steelix, depending on what this thing's speed investment was. But yeah, Tyrantrum's down. Koko picking up its first kill of the season, and he's going to go out into Mega Mawile, and I'm just going to make the safe switch now. I've got another chance to make my first hard switch into Steelix because the Fire Fang missed earlier. Yeah, like I said, I can go straight into Steelix. He is going to predict it for the second time. He's going to hit it this time, and he's going to pop my Occa Berry, but as you can see, that's going to do absolutely nothing. What even is Huge Power? What even is Mega Mawile? And now I can just go for a safe Earthquake, but he's going to predict that, and he's going to go out into Cryogonal. So that's a very, very good play on his end. Like, he needs to get rocks away for late game, or he needs to hit me with, you know, he needs to hit me with something. I'm just going to go for a Crunch here. I expected him to possibly Freeze Dry me there, but he does Rapid Spin, and I am going to Crunch and take this thing out. So, yeah, oh, that was weird. I am going to Crunch and take this thing out, and Cryogonal is going to go down. Steelix picking up its first kill of the season, and we're now 5-3 up, and the three things he has left are really susceptible to Hydreigon. So I'm just going to make a hard switch right here, go out into Hydreigon, and hopefully, depending on what the Mega Mawile's set is, I can clean up with Hydreigon here. I can just go for Earth Power, see what happens. He's still got the Vaporeon around, which is going to be able to threaten me out a little bit. So it is Toxic though, so I feel like I can break through it. So Earth Power's going to go off, and I'm going to get a Spadef drop. Everything that could go wrong in this game for Slyroh has, and I feel so bad for him because it would have been a lot closer had he hit that Head Smash earlier, had he hit that Fire Fang on Steelix the first time, but because even this Spadef drop here, it's absolutely huge. It's absolutely huge. Also, he missed the bloody Steam Eruption on my Hydreigon, which could have possibly burnt it and made this thing's job a little easier. Everything that could have gone wrong for Slyroh has. I feel bad for him. I don't know if I'd have lost the game if all those Haxes hadn't happened, but... And as you can see, I'm going to get a crit just to rub salt into the wound. He's got nothing and I've got everything, and I feel horrible for it. But that's the game, that's Pokemon, it's what happens. But yeah, Vaporeon's gone down because of Spadef drop, and I'm just going to Earth Power. It's going to take out the Mawile because of Wise Glasses, and yeah, all he's got left is a low health Volcanion that's going to switch in and just die to another Earth Power. So that's going to be the game, that's going to be a 5-0. Hacks helped me so much. Don't know if it changed the course. I don't know if it changed the actual end result. I don't know if I would have lost otherwise. I like to think I wouldn't, but I don't know how Pokemon would have gone. I don't know if, you know, I don't know if the game would have changed completely. I'm not sure. I'd like to think that I would have still won it because I would have still had the offensive pressure of Hydreigon for late game. And I would still have had my Tapu Koko to possibly come in and pull shenanigans against Mawile. If I could stall out its Sucker Punches. I also still had Fortress, who never actually hit the field. My offensive Fortress that would have been able to outspeed Mawile and Earthquake it. Possibly Volcanion too. I had Sturdy around, so I don't think I would have lost that game. I think Fortress would have just had to play a huge part in it. But it didn't have to hit the field because everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But that's Pokemon for you, and it's an absolute shame, but there's nothing else I can do. I can't, you know, I can't take back what happened, but it's alright. I mean, Slyroh's a great player. He'll come back from this. He'll probably make playoffs if he keeps playing the way he did. He was making the correct switches. He was making the correct plays. I just feel like I prepped really well for this, and I just feel like he got unlucky. Maybe the game could have gone differently. Maybe it would have come a lot closer, but I do feel like I probably still could have won that game. But anyway, that's the game. Good game, Slyroh. Go and check him out. All of his links and stuff will be down in that description. He's a very, very good guy with some amazing content. Really enjoy, he's one of my really good friends in the community. I really enjoy being in calls and stuff with him. He's a good guy. Make sure you go and give him all the love. But now, on to next week, and that will be against Sinister Saberlight, Baby Eye, and his Miami Dolphinies. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and I'm hoping to be able to do things and stuff against him again. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to leave a like and all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day and a great life, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.